Faded New Jersey gambling hub, Atlantic City is like a cross between Las Vegas and Blackpool, United Kingdom.
No, it's not.
At night, the streets just behind the main oceanfront boardwalk are war zone, locals say.
You would pull up to a red light, waiting to go into the casino park.
There were guys with shotguns robbing people at the red lights.
Even as kids are on their way to school in the mornings, there's open warfare in the alleyways.
There's a lot of homeless people.
Behind the city's famed boardwalk, an Atlantic City resident said,
There's gangs.
You cross over Atlantic Avenue, you don't want to be over there.
Literally 2 blocks over.
It's a whole different world over there.
It's dangerous if you look. People are going to see weakness in everybody.
and they're going to take advantage of that.
It's like you're in the middle of war.
Actually, these are quotes from an article published in the Mirror on June 27, 2024.
We are Coastal Cousins Heritage Gardens, and we have a lot to say about this.
Here, let's get the facts straight. AC has a rich past that began with the Lenape people. The Lenene Lenape used the island as their summer home and called it Absegami, meaning little water. Over time, the name evolved into Absecon Island. In the 19th century, Dr. Jonathan Pitney and Richard Osborne saw potential in Absecon Island as a health resort. Rapid development and transportation infrastructure made it a popular resort destination. And Osborne, a civil engineer, designed the city's layout and named it Atlantic City. I'd say he made a pretty good choice. Absecon Island's cool breezes and beaches were recognized as attractions. Atlantic City became famous for its iconic boardwalk, luxury hotels, and attractions like Steel Pier. Atlantic City began to decline in the 1950s as air travel made places like Florida and the Caribbean more accessible. By the 1960s, the city faced major economic and social issues.
Why did you choose the name Coastal Cousins?
Coastal Cousins is indicative of a partnership, both programmatically and collegially, collaboratively, that we have with Mr. Ty Collins, who's a docent and a descendant of African slaves who worked on a plantation in South Carolina from 1721 on through to the day that that plantation was burned down by the Union soldiers during the Civil War. Everybody on the face of the earth knows that really you need water and sustenance to survive and to have your family survive. And it's part of the first law of nature. Atlantic City is a coastal city. Charleston, South Carolina, where Middleton Place Foundation, formerly a plantation, working plantation, is located, is a coastal city as well. So when Ty and I were developing these thoughts and ideas 4 or 5 years ago, I said to him, what do you think of the idea of Coastal Cousins? And we can start this, and next year we'll have cities all up and down the eastern seaboard. I added the Heritage Gardens because of the fact that we started with heritage seeds whose antecedents were from African fruits and vegetables. The basic mission of Coastal Cousins is to have people understand the confluence, the marriage, the connection between cultural heritage. I already talked about African-American heritage and the deeply painful roots of that, which I'm not going to refuse to talk about because it's important, along with the cultural roots of every other group that has come to these shores, whether by force or by need or by desire. Everybody's awake. Navarro gave me a big smile. Everybody's still waking up? All right. We're on our way. Mr. Pancheri and his jitney service.
My first name is Elsa, and my last name is Sanchez. I'm a volunteer at the Hydrangea Trail, and I am a Rutgers Master Gardener. So plant profiles include plants used by birds, plants' ability to support pollinators, plants that support food sources, plants that act as larval hosts, and then last, the plants provide shelter. So it's really important to have our native plants. It's really important to know why you're planting them, where you're planting them, and how to plant them. When people garden, you really are very close to nature, and you're really very close to basically what's really important. You learn about caring for living things, and you learn to really appreciate where your food comes from. You appreciate flowers and beauty. And I think we've kind of gotten away from where things come from. I mean, I think if you ask some kids, where do I get apples? The grocery store. They have no concept that apples come from a tree and that we grow them right here in New Jersey. So I think it's important to spread the concept of gardening because, again, if we don't have food, we aren't here.
Damon Smith, been a gardener for about 22 years. This is called the Mortgage Lifter. It has a great story. There's a guy in Ohio that had this beefsteak tomato that he was very proud of. He combined a bunch of different beefsteaks. So he had a little gas station where he was, did car work. Well, he sold them at $1 a piece and paid off his mortgage for his little car place. And so we call this the Mortgage Lifter tomato. The message of my gardens, or our garden, is the Peace and Unity Revival Garden. Okay. And if you break down the acronym, I want people to come into the gardens, to the community garden, and get peace in their lives by bringing their community, their friends in, even the church, local church that's in front of. Bring the whole community in to enjoy this food, but also to enjoy the unity that food can bring. And when we get that down, we're going to revive the human spirit by sharing food and helping to feed each other. And that garden becomes a garden of hope. It becomes something that people will migrate to.
Yeah, plants have 6 main parts: roots, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, and seeds. My name is Melanie Reed, and I am the programming director at A Meaningful Purpose at Reed's Farm. I have lived here for just about 4 years. I moved down here in 2020 for the job that I currently have.
In your opinion, what is the intersection between gardening and community?
It is profound. Like I said, I have met so many people from being involved in community gardens in the city like this one. What I love about being a professional in this field is there really isn't a sense of competition. There's a sense of collaboration because everybody doing this work just wants to see food security heightened and environmental consequences alleviated through building green spaces. So we really all feel like we're in this together, and it fosters an incredible sense of community.
Good morning, all. Today on One Seed at a Time, we have a very special guest today. We at Coastal Cousins Heritage Garden are very excited to have Bob McDermott here.
My family goes back to prior to 1900 here, so I'm the 3rd generation McDevitt family here, and my grandfather was a fisherman, commercial fisherman. He didn't own anything. He was just one of the guys on the boat.
My father was here in 1985 or 6, and I came here in 1989 when I was around 12 years old. Went to school here my whole life. Been here all my life.
Growing up, both my parents are Mexican, so they brought a lot of their culture into an area that is highly diverse, so it introduced certain values to me. always working hard and making sure to make the best of every situation.
Now, going into Atlantic City, many people don't really have the highest opinion of the city. Do you believe the same?
No, I love Atlantic City. You know, crime, I think, is going down.
Atlantic City is beautiful. The beaches is lovely. The food is good. The restaurants are very good. They got some nice restaurants here. And it's a beautiful place to come for the summer to bring your family.
I think Atlantic City is on an upswing. We brought an entrepreneurial spirit. We have the Mayor's Office Small Business Academy where we teach people from soup to nuts how to run and maintain a business. We have partnerships with groups like Tanga Outlets that provided storefronts for winners of our business pitch competition.
They get a great education at the high school. There's a lot of great things going on. Our TV studio, our newscast, that's one of the great things at the high school. I'll stack up what we're doing against any high school in their broadcasts all day long.
Now that it's contracting, there's a lot of jobs in the industry will be opening up over the next 10 years because if I'm 63, I'm going to be 73. I'm not going to be waiting on tables. There will be continuing opportunities for employment.
What would you say are some glaring issues of Atlantic City?
Access to healthier options around. I think education, because a lot of this that I'm saying today, I didn't really know or realize until I started taking my health into account,
We're lucky that we have that acronym. That's big. But Atlantic City doesn't have that, and that's a shame.
Look, I live here. The residents of Atlantic City isn't buying it unless it's a major name brand like ShopRite. She said the residents of Atlantic City deserves a ShopRite. We went into a negotiation with ShopRite. The deal fell through. We had a big press conference with the governor and everyone coming down announcing that, the food desert is coming to an end. And unfortunately, it didn't work. You got COVID, was involved as well. The rising cost of price, we gave them a subsidy of $18 million. At the end of the day, they wanted 36. Can't do that. We're still searching for the supermarket. As a matter of fact, Mighty Writers and the Ideal Institute of Technology, supposed to provide some type of food options coming up soon and very soon as a part of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority.
Sometimes I wish things were a little bit cleaner. Wish some of the stores were more modern. I think when I look at those outlet stores, I was like, why can't a lot of Atlantic City be like that?
Could you explain what we do here as a group and going through our weekly schedule?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. The schedule has been organic, and it's fleshing out even as we're doing it.
I try to be ready each week with a game plan for what the outcomes should be. Through this process, the schedule became very much different from how I saw it a mere 2 months ago. From Monday to Thursday, for 5 out of the 7 weeks of our program, we traveled to several gardens throughout Atlantic City and Pleasantville. We visited Hydrangea Trail Garden at Cardinal Restaurant. We visited the Hamilton First United Methodist Church Garden, which is part of Our Garden, a garden program created by our friend and partner, Damon Smith. For Chicken Bone Beach, the parking lot shrubs, and there are 40 of them. We had to water them the old-fashioned way. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we took care of Our Lady Star of the Sea's Peace Garden, which Coastal Cousins, Crops, and Our Lady Star of the Sea partnered in revitalizing this past spring. Our Wednesday schedule included the Ark Community Garden in Pleasantville and Fisherman's Park Community Garden in Gardner's Basin, back in Atlantic City. Our afternoons were totally dedicated to exploring how to tell stories through digital media. We examined all phases of setting up, scheduling, and conducting interviews, both within our intern-built studio in the OLSS convent and out on the street. We introduced post-production theory and equipment needs. We demonstrated how to navigate the digital editing workspace. The result of all this work is the production you are watching at this very moment.
Do you think Coastal Cousins can make a difference for the community in Atlantic City?
Yes. Yeah, I do. So you asked an open-ended question. Why I say yes to that question of Coastal Cousins' potential impact on the community is that as we as a group have traveled all through the city and over to Pleasantville, helping with established community gardens, weeding, doing backbreaking work, really, sometimes in very stressful and heat-filled situations. Everybody that we've met has been blown away by the conceptual framework and by the energy that we display as we're out in public. And I think that when we're in our office space and doing the content creation and working, I've watching the evolution and as the team starts sitting together or joining each other or helping each other out. That's been amazing to me, and it's been my goal from the beginning that would happen naturally. Again, it came organically. It came because you guys started to find trust in one another with the ideas and your creative energies. You've all leaned into helping each other one way or another. And that's another part, because you are community as well. So that's it. This has impacted you guys in ways I don't think that any of us really truly understand at the moment, but we will. So yes, Coastal is designed to have an impact on the community. When we're making content product about our work this summer, it's to inform the community that the work has taken place. Had we not done any of this, then our summer would have been spent cleaning gardens and maintaining gardens and watering, sometimes under duress with gallon water cans multiple times, walking across Indiana Avenue. And that would be forgotten. We would have done it, and it's not there, but we've documented it all. So we have 100 hours of video and hundreds of photographs of our work, of the team in action. So that's going to impact the community tremendously. So yeah, end with my first answer, yes.
Despite facing numerous challenges, recent investments have been focused on broadening Atlantic City's appeal beyond its traditional gambling reputation, including new shops, innovative organizations, and dynamic entertainment venues. Both city officials and residents have rallied to make the coastal environment more inviting and environmentally friendly. Atlantic City, it's like a garden, each of us unique plants with our unique roots, interlocking and connecting with each other, creating more than the sum of our parts. All it takes is a little cultivation.
The problems that we have discussed can't be fixed overnight. There have to be some changes in how we do things moving forward to improve the city we know and love. Between the garden work and spreading awareness, we can do just that. Dr. Lila June Johnston, an Indigenous author, scholar, and activist, suggests things like tapping into pre-existing natural systems, along with using Indigenous techniques to elevate and benefit our soil for our future in agriculture. In other words, feeding the hand that feeds us.
What if these human hands and minds could be such a great gift to the earth that they sparked new life wherever people and purpose met? By tapping into pre-existing natural systems, native farmers have been able to cultivate the same plots of land for centuries without ever depleting the soil, because they feed the hand that feeds them.
The people in Atlantic City expressed the same sentiment in wanting to make their home a better place for them and their families to live. They were asked the question, how do you view the future of Atlantic City?
I think with all the outreach of all the CRDA and people like you guys, I think it is starting to get up again. And I think when you drive around the city, I think people are trying. So I can't say it's going down.
Come to the school, show them some vegetables. You know, whatever you guys are doing, if you came to our school, it's a church school.
New Jersey and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Come here and show them what y'all do.
Okay.
Y'all might want to bring a little bit of y'all vegetables for the kids so they can try it. It's an open door for you guys.
I think there's too many people who are dedicated to make it good. I mean, you should see every day that the people who work there want to make it great. They just do.
Part of the container park project we're working on is going to be some shipping containers fit out with hydroponics. So we're going to be growing vegetables right on Tennessee Avenue, not in the traditional way, but the 2 shipping containers should produce the vegetables that would grow on about 10 to 12 acres.
Despite all the issues, I do feel a strong sense of community, and I see a lot more aid and help coming in, and I think that's really important, because if we want to bring Atlantic City back from the issues that plague it, we need to start with little things like that.
It's hard sometimes to look out and hear all the negative things about Atlantic City. I mean, you hear about, oh, it's this person was shot or this person was stabbed. Atlantic City has a lot of resources. There's a lot of tremendous people in the city, and I think that if they just would join together, and I think nature and gardening is a way for them to do it. So I'm hopeful.
Now, there's a lot of people who want to work together, and there are ways to get the funding and support that you need, but it would be really hard to do it alone. Many hands make light work, and doing it together is really a way to achieve success.
I see in the next few years prosperity. I see a lot of development, which is going to decrease the taxes. I see us doing even more in the youth, senior, recreation space. We have to meet people where they are. So sometimes people criticize some of the things that we do, like with anti-violence and the re-entry program, but they're not urban cities. They wouldn't understand the plight and the problems that we have here in the great city of Atlantic City. Perception isn't always reality. People are always going to talk. But at the end of the day, like I said, men, women, political opportunists lie, but the numbers and facts don't. That the small administration is moving the city in the right direction, and people realize that even more down the line as we set this foundation.
When I think of the future of Atlantic City, I see a group of inspired young people, as well as people from all walks of life, trying to bring about change. We should take what all of these people have been saying into consideration. Local residents want to not just make their homes better, but in doing so, impact the rest of the world. By doing this, we can educate our children so they can do the same.
Which is why I'm going to show you guys how to make salsa verde. Today I am using some fresh tomatoes and jalapenos from the Coastal Cousins Heritage Garden. To start, broil your green tomatoes, jalapenos, and garlic for 5 minutes on each side. While that is happening, chop your onions and cilantro and add to a food processor. Add lime juice, cumin, and oregano as well. After the green tomatoes, jalapeno, and garlic are done, carefully add them into the food processor. Season with salt and pepper and add a bit more lime and voila! This is a very simple yet tasty dish to make at home.
Bananas used to look like small little green beans. Originating over 7,000 years ago in southern East Asia, bananas were among the first fruits domesticated by humans. Early farmers cultivated a variety that was smaller and less sweet than the bananas we know today. Though through selective breeding, they were able to enhance the fruit's size, taste, and seedlessness, make it more appealing and easier to eat.
The bug shown here is the 4th instar nymph spotted lanternfly. These bugs normally begin to hatch in May and June, where they are in their first stage, and it only takes about 2 months for these bugs to reach their 4th instar, where they show their red coloring. These bugs like to stay near plants, trees, rocks, and outdoor equipment. They can also be pretty harmful to plants because of their feeding. If you see them, kill them. Once they reach adulthood, they will only lay more of these bugs. Vinegar is especially effective when getting rid of these insects, so get a spray bottle if you're able to.